so it was definitely on the TV for
This is the point
over
of
and
the
over.
stream where I realized that the
Oh, it's
audio has
cold
not been
open.
recording.
Oh,
We did a show.
uh,
So again, welcome to the stream. We've been talking for a while. I'm gonna actually restart the recording because that's no
great,
good.
awesome, great, good. We did that wasn't any content. Everyone knows about the Matrix. Everyone's opinion about the Matrix is set in stone at this point. We're not covering any new ground. So,
That's
please.
all right. So we're recording again.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the Jeep Grand Cherokee Pinto Mercury Hummer Pontiac Oldsmobile Saturn Studios. This is Iggy Talks Too Much, episode 3. We're going to talk about Terra Invicta today. Aunt Foolish is going to be happy. I'm going quickly because we already recorded the first. I don't have a
Cold
timer.
open.
Because the timer reset because I restarted
Right.
the recording. But we've been live for 6 minutes, so you've lost the first 5 minutes. We're going to rehash some of that. But today we're going to
Okay.
talk about some hand day games. We're going to talk about last week's bets, and we're going to talk Terra Invicta for a majority, and then we're going to talk about other things, which are probably more interesting than both of those things, except the fact that there was no audio from the first 5 minutes of the show. But we got good friend of mine, twitch.tv/KoyaDK. You can reach them at CUYADK.tv, KoyaDK.tv. This is the soap man who lives out in the woods. And welcome to the show again. It looks like you're a little bit of a co-host because I mean you've been
Thank
on
you.
half the episodes.
I'm excited to be here, and I would love to co-host some stuff for you.
You're doing it right now. Welcome
I
to the
do a
show.
lot of I enjoy co-hosting. I enjoy the co part of it, and I'm co-hosting a couple of things at the moment, and I'm trying to figure out how I can start some things and then also co-host them. I'm gonna recruit some hosts. That might be what I'm
Wait a
kind of
second, are you
backdoor doing
delegating?
with
Or
I'm
excuse me, the new word is empowering. You're
I'm
not.
gonna overlord over all the hosts so that I can also be their co-host. It's like when the assistant to the regional manager is the assistant to the assistant to the regional manager,
Oh man,
so that if his assistant needs something, he tells his assistant that, and then he ends up doing everything anyway.
nice.
Right.
So I forget where this actually started, and I have no way to go back to actually check that. So let's talk about some NFL.
Yeah, sure. What's happening?
So
First of all, it's Thursday. Is there any
there,
holiday
there.
or weather related cancellations, or are we
Oh, that's right.
doing
We started
what's on tonight?
talking about how are you good? How are you going to deal with this winter storm slash blizzard? And I got a wonderful text from
Right.
Rectum Spectrum Cable
Yes.
Company that they just said, you know what, things are going to happen, things are going to go down, and just bear with us.
That
It's all going down in a flaming heap, and there's nothing we can do about it, and just deal.
unprecedented times. I, it's not unbelievable. I'm surprised how routine it is for me to just hear, well, you should just expect things to not work now. And I'm getting used to it. I don't expect things to work anymore. That's yeah.
How does it feel to be like Johnny Tremaine, just living in exciting times?
Very exciting times,
This
I
is how we
guess.
got to the Matrix, by the way, on the
Right, well, because
pre roll
I wanted to go to Walden.
on Walden Pond.
So, yeah. I said that if I could, if I had a button I could press that would activate the biggest EMP field and
Yep.
fry every server and reset all of us back to the 1700s. I would like us all to be living in a dark age rather than this dark age.
Right. And then I said, "Hey, it's like the Matrix," because like on Twitter there was someone that said something about AI, and then all of a sudden that immediately meant
It's
that
always
something
the
had to be the
Matrix.
Matrix, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, there's like I want to be if I'm gonna be in some terrible AI the day after tomorrow type, like at least let me stand on a pile of trash in the middle of nowhere and just scream I want some goddamn room service, because there are days I feel like that lately. And that's
We were promised room
we were
service.
promised room service, and we're still waiting.
That 40 years
It's
later.
40 years later.
Standing on a pile of trash. My friend's a talking dolphin, and I still don't have any room service.
Got Huldu in the chat. How you doing? We're recording the podcast. because after tomorrow there may be nothing left.
Yeah. This might be the last podcast. That'll be the title of the movie about what happens to all of us tonight.
But let's talk some NFL action and what you shouldn't have
Yeah.
done last week, but I did, and well, I got down, and good things happened. So here we are.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. But it's such a terrible vice. You should never do such a thing. But
Yeah, I mean I don't. I
you never
won't.
should. But remember, all wagering advice should never be used. In fact, you should never wager, as our betting sponsor Caesar and Cleopatra's Popina and Wagering Parlor states. But you can sign up today with promo code Full Caesar by setting a chariot with a stone carving with the phrase Full Caesar, and upon winning your first wager, you'll win 23 big ones in the rotunda. So we're going to break down spreads, unders, action. We'll quickly go through the NFL things. I really want to talk about Terra Invicta, but our sponsors required that this happens. So
Some
um,
discussion of wagers.
so tonight, Prime Video has Jags Jets. Jets just got destroyed by Detroit, um, and the Jags somehow, just like the Houston Texans, are like in weird games and somehow not, they're somehow winning games. Let me just get some stats in front of me. We didn't have these up a minute ago. Pro Football Reference. All right. So the line on this game is Jaguars plus 2.5. What do you think on Jags Jets for tonight's game?
Well, it's in my blood to root for the Jets. Are they
They just lost to the Lions. Lions on the
yeah,
upswing. In this game,
but
I'm probably not going to bet it. If I had to pick someone, I'd take the Jags. They
it's close,
won.
right?
They won. They won against the Cowboys in overtime last week, and the
Okay.
Jets lost to the Lions. I think by a touchdown, by 3 points. So you got Jets. I'm not sure the Jags can get in the playoffs, but like the Jets, they lose this game, they're probably out of the playoffs, kind of things. It's no bet for me.
Okay.
But if I had to pick, I'd pick the Jags.
I've got friends that would be disappointed to hear, but I'm gonna be rooting for the Jaguars again,
They do have the better
based on the
mascot.
mascot. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
and yeah. We got Seahawks Chiefs. 10 points to the Seattle Seahawks. They've really been languishing, and for some reason, Pete Carroll can't seem to find someone who can throw the ball lately. Their offense has just been absolutely dreadful, and they basically slugged through the last couple games. They screwed me over 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, we don't have to take any action on the Seahawks lately. And I have a feeling, I don't like that it's 10 points.
Is
Like
10 a lot?
ten's a
Is
lot. I
that
mean, think about it.
that's big, right?
Like
Yeah.
not only do you need the team that you want to win, like you're betting that the Seahawks are going to cover 10 points, which with the
Yeah.
way their offense has been playing and the way their defense is, like I expect them to give up 30 points in this game. So okay, can the Seahawks score 20 points? Well, in the last couple weeks they've really struggled to do that. And if they're down like 15 to 30 or so, and the game's almost over, they're not going to kick a field goal. So you really need to score a touchdown. And that like when it's 10 points, you don't necessarily know that the teams they're not playing to the spread, they're playing to win and lose. So we get towards the end of the
Sure.
game, and
Right,
certain
yeah.
outcomes are not going to happen. They're not going to kick a field goal just to cover your 10 points. They're going to go for the touchdown and win or
Yep.
lose on that. So my thoughts are this is a no bet for me based on the spread, based on the fact the Seahawks. And the other thing is Mahomes has not looked great. So like I'd actually would more prefer, because Pete Carroll's the kind of guy who can find a way to pilot his ship into the playoffs, but it's just that so much is like they had special teams errors, they had punt blocks. It's just been terrible. And
Okay.
Mahomes has been throwing interceptions. Like he loves to throw all those improvisational throws, right? And he's gotten into a lot of
Sure.
trouble the last few weeks. They got off to a terrible start. Was it against the Colts or the Texans? They were down like 20 points at halftime, and then of course they come all the way back. Like that was basically the story. Is over the weekend, the Vikings. We'll get to the Vikings and Colts later, but it was the largest comeback in the history. Oh, Dogecoin. That's not happening. Get out of here. Get
Dogecoin.
out of here. Who
I
sent
haven't
me
been offered. I,
Dogecoin?
a robot has not offered me Dogecoin yet. I don't
They
think
must
so.
be really desperate.
They've offered me lots of
We're
weird
talking
things.
about betting legally, but you
Oh
could bet legally, you
yeah.
could bet illegally, and I guess that's what's attracted the attention of the. But anyway, so this is a no bet for me. I want to say Seattle's going to recover, but what do you think on this? You got anything? Over unders 50 points,
I mean,
49 and a
yeah,
half.
that seems like a no bet. I do like, I do like the Chiefs in this situation.
They are one of the highest producing offenses in the league right now, and then their
Yeah,
defense is doing okay. So like, it's just gonna like if the game goes the way it
it's gonna
should,
be a
they're gonna win by
if
10
it's a
points.
mess, it's not worth betting on. And
There's
yeah,
too many X factors. So like, I want
yeah,
something that I think that they put the line somewhere and people have either bet it or moved it where I think that there's a good chance. If I can get 60-40 that I think I'm going to win, I like those odds. If it's a coin flip, that's just losing money and just betting for the sake of betting.
hmm
All right, so Bills Bears. This is another one that I don't like. So the key thing about this game, now we're into the 1 o'clock on Sunday. There's
okay,
supposed to be snow again, and
all right.
I think this one's at
Is this
Bears.
Christmas Day?
Is the 24th December Ween?
Oh, Sunday.
Is that
Oh,
December Ween Eve?
I
What day
think
is
Sunday.
actually December Ween?
Sunday is the 25th,
I think
which is
so. It's
December
Christmas
Eve.
Eve. It's December Ween Eve.
No, the 25th. The
I don't.
25th is December Ween,
Right. So the Eve is 24th or 24th. Sorry, I said
which is
Sunday.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. They have Saturday games.
Sorry. Okay,
Are they
Saturday.
like really? I didn't realize that all the games are going to be on Saturday, or at least a significant number of them. Maybe because they're
Did they
trying to
feed him a
make.
turkey or anything?
No, that's
Only
Thanksgiving,
on
but there are
Thanksgiving?
going to be
That's
games I
they
think
feed them that
on
mutant
Christmas.
turkey.
So anywho, I don't have really any bet for Bills Bears just because 8 points is rough. If there's I
Yeah.
think there's supposed to be snow, but it looks like the way they have this listed, I would assume it's at the Bears. Um, but I was told that there was going to be snow at this game. In that case, it kind of changes what your
I mean,
expectations are. I mean,
either
you
of
look
those
at the
places
over
are gonna
under.
have snow on them. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the over under at 41 for 40 and a half. I mean, that's like if it was like 45, I'd probably just take the under here. That'd be the bet I'm looking for. But with the way the Bills are definitely a superior team, but the Bears have enough defense that maybe they don't. I mean, eight's rough. If it was like 4 points, I'd take the Bills because I think they're gonna win. But I don't really. Another one I don't like. Thoughts?
You've got me starting to consider placing some wagers,
No,
Iggy. I
no,
feel
you
like
shouldn't.
I feel like you got this under control.
We
I
didn't
feel
talk
like your
about last
advice
week.
is really good. Well, it's I know, but
So
I'm
last
starting to
week
see how the odds. I'm starting to see how it
you're
works, and
supposed to
I feel like
lose.
I could.
Don't.
Yeah,
Just
but
don't.
I'm gonna win.
That's what everyone thinks, and then they
Right?
lose. And then
Yeah.
when you win,
I
they
can.
rate limit you.
So this is where I'm at. I'm at the point where I can start to understand what the allure of this is and how,
Oh no.
the house always ends up winning. Yeah.
So
I get it, I guess. I guess I'm saying that if you must wager, I get it.
so last week we took action on the World Cup. We had
Oh
Argentina to
yeah.
win, well, to lift the cup. So because the way betting works for soccer knockout rounds is you bet the 90 minutes, and whatever. So if they tie and go to extra time, you have to bet draw in order to get that payout on 90 minutes. But there's a separate bet called to qualify, which means if you win, if you advance any way you advance, there's no draw option. You either pick well, somebody wins, somebody loses, or somebody
Okay.
advances and somebody doesn't. So I took Argentina to advance. Those in the know, it was one of the most wild World Cup finals of all time. I'm not sure it's the best played or the best World Cup final of all time, but the game did go to penalties, tied 3-3. And Argentina, I called it on my Twitter. I just said, so what happened in the game is France took out, they were losing 2-0. Messi got a penalty, and I forget the other guy that scored. So they were up 2-0, and then they basically make a whole bunch of tactical substitutions to promote midfield and basically moving the ball forward and trying to create more opportunities, taking more risks. But they also put on fresh legs, youth that have nothing to lose, and they went for it. And they found some holes in Argentina's defense that really weren't available to. In the previous 6 games. Argentina's defense looked pretty stalwart, and their low block didn't really didn't allow a lot of separation. But they were up 2-0. They didn't really park the bus or like really just try to play behind the ball and always just try to stay in front of whatever's happening. But these youthful guys, they came on around 40 minutes in the game and thereabouts, and they had fresher legs, so they just kept doing forward runs, just trying to push the ball in, and they made some opportunities, and it eventually turned to a just completely all-out crazy game. It went 2-2, I think, to extra time. So I'm like, okay, I've seen what's happening in this game. Both teams are attacking, and I got almost 10-1 odds on the bet of in extra time. This is live betting, never do this. But I said, okay, I assume that Argentina is going to at least
Is
score one more goal because of how bad France's back line looks and how tired they are. Because all the people that came on way earlier. Argentina has all their subs left at this part of the game, or like one minus one. So they have like 5 subs. France is down to 1. So the people are going to come on. They're going to attack and try to score, prevent penalties. And France is in the same boat. No one wants to go to penalties in the World Cup final. They want to win, and both teams have the offenses to do that. But I knew the French guys were gassed, so I placed 2 bets, and one of them was going to lose for sure. But they also had high odds. So one was that Argentina would score, at least score, only Argentina scores, or both teams score. So both teams score was nearly 10-1. Argentina only scoring was 6-1. I got paid out basically 10-1 odds on that bet because I basically was covering because I knew someone was going to score. When I say no, I mean I'm watching the game intently. I'm watching the tactics that they're doing. I felt that it was a huge underlay to say, Argentina only at 6-1. Like the primary odds was of course no one scores in extra time, and that only paid about even money or less than even money. And I'm like, this is I felt I found a huge underlay, so I just threw a couple. We're we have a unit. We bet 1 unit on each, and we got paid out, and that basically covered the couple units bet I had on the Argentina. And the Argentina won, so I'm like, well, we're just making it rain. So then, our NFL bets for the weekend, I had a list from base, and I only picked the ones that I thought were really good. So I took the Niners on the spread. We won that. I took the Colts, which they gave up. We'll get to the Colts in a minute here, but they were up 33-0. They lost in overtime to the Vikings 36-33 with the largest comeback in NFL history. Jeff Saturday is terrible. He's given up basically the most points in fourth quarter action from the past 3 games. He gave like 100 points in the fourth quarter, and he scored like 3. I had Colts plus 3.5, so I won.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I had the Lions. Lions had multiple units on it because I thought it was an underlay with the way that I think I had Lions money line wager, which is different. Instead of the spread, you see the money line next to it.
Yeah.
So like if it's the underdog, you get paid a little more even odds. You have to actually win the game if there's no points involved.
Okay.
I think I had Giants plus 4.5, and then I had Rams plus 7. The only bet on the weekend after it was all tallied up that I lost was Rams plus 7 because Baker did not bake, and the Rams looked absolutely atrocious on Monday night. But I enjoyed it. It was a good game as far as it ended up like 12-20 or something, and they couldn't cover. But so we ended up way up on the weekend, and I was very happy with that. And of course, we're for those that actually we're betting peanuts, so it's not
okay.
It's not a.
It sounds like wagering is a lot of fun and profitable.
No, you're gonna lose.
Do you want me to not become the devil's advocate?
All I know is you need to be sure to stop on by Porky's Nightmare Bacon Emporium. Everything else Emporium. Nothing says the holidays better than a deliciously mouth-watering holiday ham. Be sure to stop in and ask about their 2 hams for $20 deal, and tell them Porky sent you.
Those hams are going to be sopping wet.
They will be sopping wet and moist. That is a guarantee.
Guaranteed.
So next game we got Falcons Ravens. Well, I think I also had Ravens too, and I think they covered because it was some stupid 2-point game again, and for some reason I was able to get Ravens plus 3. Falcons are terrible. I would not want to take Ravens minus 6.5 on this because they struggle to score points, and they're good at winning close games because of how they're coached. But their quarterback, they can't make consistent drives. A lot of their drives end up in field goals, and the Falcons are just a mess. I mean, the Falcons are about as bad as the Panthers. You don't know what you're going to get, so it's a no bet for me. What do you think?
Agreed. Yeah, you feel like they're not going to.
Well, it's just that
you feel like they're going to win. They're not going to beat that spread.
Like the Falcons lost. So the Falcons are almost a touchdown favorite, and they lost to the lowly Saints last week by a field goal. So, what am I supposed to do with that? I mean, if I had to take anyone, I'd take the points here, because that's a lot of points. The problem is it's less than a touchdown. So, if somehow that went to 7 or 7.5, I'd take it. I think that would be in my favor, because I think the game is going to be very close. The Ravens are going to manage some 4-point lead at the end of the game, and it's going to come down to someone trying to make a drive to win at the end. As long as I have that covered, I mean, I don't really see someone winning this game by 10 points, but I can see someone winning this game by touchdown. And that's why I'm like, well, so the Falcons are a possibility there, but I really want a better spread. So it's a no bet for me. Saints Browns. Let's go. What we got here? Saints Browns. Saints are terrible. And is Deshaun Watson on the Browns? Can we just not deal with the Browns?
I don't know.
Yeah, the Ravens last week scored 3 points, by the way. They lost by 10 points to the Browns. Yet somehow they're 6.5 favorites on. Yeah, what a disaster that
That
is.
doesn't sound, yeah.
I just don't know which way. I don't feel it's very predictable where it's going to go. What I'm trying to find is who's is Cleveland Browns. I'm pretty sure it's Deshaun Watson. Yeah, so Deshaun Watson. Screw him. If I'm going to bet anything in this game, I take the Saints. And a 2 plus 2.5. I don't even understand why that dude's a favorite. I don't think he's that good. It's all. This game's a disaster. I don't want to bet this game. Like you look at the under over on this game, 32 points. That might be the actual action. I think. Well, the Saints have a decent defense. I don't think the Brown. I checked the numbers on the Browns, but like I'd almost the only bet I think I'd be actually taking on this is over 32 points because that for an NFL game that's awful low. Like you're expecting the game to be like 10-16 or something at the end of the game. Like okay, two
Sure.
touchdowns, like four touchdowns in the game plus 2 field goals, and there's like 20 drives in the game. That's that's
And
rough.
these guys collectively aren't going to do that.
Well, they could. It's just
I mean, obviously it's
all you need
possible,
is like
but
the defense to give them a really
your
short field,
prediction.
and both these teams are pretty bad on offense. So like that just tells you how bad on offense
Mhm.
they are. And like 2.5 is almost an inflated spread when the score is lower, right? But like 2.5 doesn't cover a
Sure.
field goal. So another no bet for me. Texans Titans blew it again last week, if I recall correctly. They certainly blew it 2 weeks ago. Where are my Titans here? Yeah, Titans lost to the Chargers. I saw that game. They lost by a field goal, and they're kind of slip sliding away here. And then they're playing the Texans. Texans last couple weeks they almost beat the Cowboys, and they almost beat somebody else. It was at the Chiefs or whatever last week. They'll get up 14 points and then just blow it all at halftime. The Cowboys had to rally back to beat them, but the Texans are the worst team in the league by record, and probably by
Yeah.
far the worst team in the league. And the Titans are just a middling team that just seems to not be able to find that. What I do like in this game is probably over 35.5.
Oh, you do, huh?
Yeah. Because I
You
don't
like over
think I don't
35?
let's say the Texans go up 10 points in this game. I don't think it finishes with them winning the game. And I don't think 3
Okay.
points is enough to cover how much they're going to lose by. And I don't think the Titans can score enough points to reliably cover -3. So if I take any action in this game, it's going to be over 35.5.
I was thinking about taking the -3 on the Titans just
You
because
could.
of you saying that they're the worst team in the league
The
right now.
Texans, even if they get up in this game, are going to find a way to throw it. But they're not going to throw it as
Cool.
hard as like the other team has
That
to
sounds
actually
like a
try.
smart wager to me.
The Colts are just going to throw it. And then, so like if this was the Colts against the Titans at 3 points, I totally take because the Colts are going to find a way to blow this game.
Yeah, just
Um,
completely.
we got Lions Panthers. Lions are now after winning like 5 or 6
Another
games in a
hard
row.
call as far as mascots are concerned.
It is a hard call as a mascot.
Yeah.
However,
I mean,
the
ooh, gosh.
Lions are now basically one of the highest offensive production teams in the league. They're also one of the worst defensive teams in the league. The good part is the Panthers are going to wing the ball down the field. There's an X factor in this game that the Lions produce a lot of turnovers lately, and that's been scoring them a
Okay.
lot of points. So in this game, I would actually take the Lions at -2.5. I think that the Panthers are basically fighting for their playoff lives here because there's like we're only a couple games left in the season now, 3 to go for most teams, and the Panthers they have to try to pass the Tom Brady led Bucks, and basically the Bucks have a 1 game advantage over the rest of the division. And the only way any of those guys are getting into the playoffs is basically somehow winning the table and hoping that like a 500 record gets you the last wild card slot, or winning the division, which gets you automatically in. So right now the Panthers basically have to win this game, or just hope everyone else also tanks, but they have to somehow make up that game behind. So I'm on the Lions with this, as long as that line isn't 3 points. I have a feeling that Jared Goff is like they figured out a lot of things in Lions country, and I just their coach takes a lot of crazy risks, but they tend to work out, and I don't think they're as big of a risk as people think they are. They notice something at the line, notice the defense isn't paying attention, and they have an offensive lineman catch a 7-yard pass on 4th down to ice a game. So everything is kind of going up and up for them, and the Panthers is basically where QBs go to lose their careers. So the Panthers are just a really bad football team. So I'm on the Lions for this. What do you got?
The Lions do have a better mascot. What do you think about the over?
I don't
That
know how
you
many
think that's a
points
little
the
smarter? You
problem
don't know how the
is.
Panthers are gonna do?
Yeah, it's exact. I don't know how. If the Panthers can't score points, you're hoping that Detroit puts up
Yeah,
all the points themselves,
just
and
destroys
that's
them. Yeah.
and I
I mean, that
43
is
is
high.
kind of a normal, and that's
Is
kind
that
of a normal
normal?
one. The other games,
Okay.
those numbers are a lot lower because those teams are bad. But like, keep in mind, like all you need is a first half that scores like 14 points, and like people are going to be trying to score points, or they give up an interception
Sure.
or something. Whereas this game, to get to 44, basically means we got to be like, a couple touchdowns each at halftime, and then we have to continue scoring in the second half. So that means like if the Lions go up 28-0 in this game, in theory, the correct play, the Colts didn't do this, and that's why they lost last week. One of the big reasons they didn't just run the ball in the second half, run the clock out. They're not going to try to score touchdowns, so the over is one of those bets you're not really
Sure.
making. Like again, the teams are not playing to run up the score.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if the
Yeah. Yeah.
game
Yeah.
situation becomes out of hand, which it could be, you could just be stuck with the under here. All right, let's go to Bengals Patriots. Patriots still have this massive quarterback controversy. They're coming back off of last week they were going to go to overtime, but you know how they do like the
Okay.
lateral play at the end of a game trying to score like rugby, they're passing it
Yes.
backward. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
idiot
Yeah.
so the guy catches the pass, and the guy's not thinking, take a knee and just go to overtime, because like they're trying to get within field goal range, and then he decided, well, I'm just going to throw lateral. So he throws one all the way back. It's picked off by the last guy, one of the D backs. He stiff arms
Okay.
the quarterback in front of him, who's still on the ground, and he just walks it into the end zone. And the Raiders, also one of the worst teams in the league, get a walk off touchdown in a play that should have never happened, and we should have just went to overtime. And I'm sure Belichick went out back and stabbed that guy after
Wow.
after
Yeah.
the
How's
game,
that guy
because that
doing?
was like the worst. That was People are trying to name how bad that was. Like like that
Are-
play now needs a name. Like
yeah.
he
Is he
was just not thinking. He was
is he
trying to
gonna
keep the
have the
play alive,
maneuver named
but
after him?
there was no actual pressure to score. They weren't losing. They didn't have to do anything. Just go to overtime. And it was just a brain dead moment. Boneheaded moment. Yeah, boneheaded moment. So Bengals got Joe Burrow, and they're definitely the favorite in this game. Patriots have had a really, really hard time scoring points. The other thing to consider with a lot of these games is you got to know the weather going into some of these games too. But I
Yeah. We
like
don't
Bengals
really
-3
know.
because I mean the Pats. I could really see the actual line of this game being like Bengals -7. Joe Burrow has a problem in that Joe Burrow's quarterback for Bengals. His offensive line is basically one of the worst in the league. He is one of the most hurried quarterbacks, but he still has managed to find ways to win games this season, and he's still a pretty good quarterback. It's just that his offensive line really lets him down. The good news is the Patriots have a really
Yeah.
good the Judon, who I forget if he's middle linebacker, but he's basically sitting in the secondary. He is like one of those really athletic guys. He gets interceptions. He knows how to chase people down. He's basically one of the cores of the Patriots defense. He's the X factor in this game, but I don't think he's going to be able to pick off Burrow like 3 times and really. The Patriots get the ball, and they're probably going to 3-and-out half the time, because I just don't think that their offense is that good. So I'd be on Bengals -3 here, and that'd be
Mm,
my action.
that's fair. And I mean, I do agree with you, but as you know, I'm required by law to root for the Patriots. So
There you
if I
go.
was gonna wager, I am from Connecticut. I don't have an option in this. I was born into it. Got to root for the Patriots.
All right, we got Giants Vikings. Vikings just came back from a 33-point loss against the Colts, the very lowly Colts. I love Jeff Saturday, but like he needs someone in his ear to tell him just run the ball when you're up 30 points. They didn't. They tried to get cute, throw the ball, clock stops. It's the Vikings back in the game. That was basically the most
Yep.
offense I've seen out of the Vikings this season. They needed to catch
Wow.
up and save their playoff situation. I don't like the bet in this game, just because every time I watch the Vikings, there's games where they don't score any points. 4 points is that weird margin of,
Right.
if they're, I could see the
It's got to be
Vikings winning
more
this
than
game by
a
a field goal, and
field
that's, I
goal.
mean, the line is
Right.
usually pretty honest. And the Giants just came off of playing Washington, not looking hugely great, but I mean, they did beat Washington after they tied them 2 weeks ago. But I don't really have a good bet here. I think the over under is way too high for what might end up being just a run ground pound game. Just
Sure.
with the way the Vikings play. I have no bet here.
Leave this one alone, but the Giants are not going to win.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are going to win this game. Like Vikings
Just
are,
putting it out there. Just that's my opinion.
yeah. Commanders, Niners. This one. So you got Brock Purdy, who yet again did the magic for the Niners, and I I think that the Niners are probably, if it was sitting at, if it was -6.5. I like the Niners here. Um,
Okay, but it ain't.
it ain't. So I'd
Yeah.
wait and see what happens with that, because 7 points is a bit, like, I at least want the action that if they win by a touchdown, like, you need a 2 score win, which might happen.
Yep.
Brock Purdy's been great, but I mean, this might be a game where I just take the over maybe, because the way that
Oh,
the
okay. Yeah.
49ers
Sure.
offense probably is going to put up 20 to, I'd have to check how good the Commanders defense is and what they've been allowing per game, but I'm going to guess the Commanders are going to get about 25 points in this game, pretty much guaranteed. I say 25, that's kind of a weird number. It's 24 points, 3 touchdowns and a
Sure.
field goal, maybe more. So does Washington at least score twice in this game? Maybe. Do the 49ers, if they get up like a 30-point lead, though, or, I think we'd still have enough points in it to get 37 is low enough that I kind of like it. But I do think the Niners are gonna win this game pretty handily. They already walked off with the division last week. All right, you got a pick on that one?
I like the over.
Yeah, I think that's the. It's just
Yeah.
hard. It's just hard. If it was like 5 points, maybe, I don't know. Eagles Cowboys. Um, Eagles
How are the
base.
Cowboys doing?
The Cowboys are having trouble beating the Houston Texans, but they ended up winning the game. They lost last
Oh.
week to the Jags in overtime, so go figure that.
Oh, right.
And the
Yep. That's yep.
Eagles are
Okay.
favored because they're probably one of the best teams, if not the best team, is performing wise in the league. They were the last undefeated team, and they still only have one loss.
That's right. I've got the Eagles to take the whole thing. I got the Eagles for
You
the
got the
Super
Eagles
Bowl.
for on the futures, like it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they're going to win. I think when the playoffs happen,
I
it's going to
am.
get weird. But no, this is kind of a no bet for me. I don't really know what to expect from Dallas. If it was 7 points to wait a second, why are the Dallas Cowboys favored in this game? Wait a second. Wait a second. Did the Eagles lose their quarterback or something? Is there might actually be action here I want. Are the Eagles down their quarterback? Let me look at their. Do I have a matchup for this game? So who do you like in this one?
Oh, I like the Eagles for sure.
Week
Also, it sounds smart. Whether or not I like them, it seems like if they've had one defeat.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia at Dallas. These are all Saturday games too.
Yeah, because Sunday is December Miss,
Yeah,
December
December
Ween.
ween. Yeah. I just want to see their injury lists, because the only reason, like, they're the hottest team in the league. So is Jalen Hurts not starting or something? That's the only thing I can think of. And as usual, we run way over with this segment, but our sponsors like you to know that the holidays are upon us, and nothing says aphrodisiac than a solid waxy substance originating from the intestines of a sperm whale. Yes, Ambergris and Company has your hookup for the most incredible whale and whale-like substances you know will impress your partner. Ambergris and Co. Ahab and Ishmael approved. So we
Love it.
have
Love ambergris.
Jalen Hurts did not practice because of his shoulder. So this is a one you want to watch. Jalen Hurts will start Cowboys. That's a reason. He is out versus the Cowboys, and now you got to look at this guy named Gardner Minshew to start, and that is why they are 5.5 point favorites. So
Okay.
unlike the Brock Purdy situation, where everything working around the Niners is, I wouldn't
A
say their
lot of
quarterback is
injuries.
replaceable, but the Niners' offense and defense is humming so well that they've changed out the quarterback multiple times, and they have such good pieces otherwise that as long as the quarterback is comparable, they could do well. I don't know if the Eagles. This is a wait and watch and see where this line goes type of situation. Because at the moment, if I had +7 on the Eagles, I like that better. But it could
Okay.
be that
Sure.
their backup quarterback is terrible. I'd have to look at this guy. I did not know that he actually was ruled out for the game. But that's the thing to watch here. For me right now, it's a no bet because I feel 5.5. I don't know what to expect with him. And the Eagles also might just rest people because I think they're so far ahead in their division and stuff that
Mm.
yeah. So That's kind of a no bet. And you said you take the Eagles. Let's go to the next one.
I like the Eagles. Yeah, Eagles to win. Yeah.
Nightcap on Saturday. We got Raiders Steelers, and both these teams are terrible, and I don't like the action in this game. I'm not sure they're going to get to 38.5 point size. This is no bet for me.
No. Yeah.
No.
Is it going to be close?
Well, it's just going to be in the nomenclature a shit show, and
Yeah.
both
Right.
teams are so bad right now that I don't know what I'm going to get. So like, if you have a reason to think one's better than the other, like, but it's
I
less than a
don't.
field goal
Yeah.
line. Yeah, I don't like it. Packers Dolphins. Packers miraculously screwed me over Monday, last week with the Rams, and Aaron Rodgers actually only threw to receivers that ran the wrong route a few times as opposed to many times. They're playing Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins, and the Packers basically have their playoff lives on the line.
Progress is cool.
Packers really, really, really need to win out, and the last week they play against the Lions in Green Bay. That's Green Bay's like favorite thing is to just pounce on the Lions and destroy them and ruin any secure their playoffs and destroy the Lions at the same time. That's their thing.
They love to do it. They do it every year.
Pretty much. Maybe not this year though. They already lost. The Packers already lost the Lions this year.
Oh.
This is kind of a no bet for me in terms of like this is kind of four -4 for Tua is probably about right. Tua might just absolutely blow away the this game. Like if it was -3, I think I'd take Miami here pretty easily. But -4, they're going to manage the game towards the end, and I don't think 4 is the way Aaron Rodgers has found points in games. So it's a no bet for me. How about you?
Yeah. No bet.
All right,
Dolphins have a better mascot.
this is very true, and they also have the cable guy.
Are they cheese packers? Do they pack cheese?
They were cheeseheads. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, is that what? Are they like factory workers that pack cheese?
I
into
believe that
packages?
is the name, the nomenclature. Yes. So
Okay.
we got a Russell Wilson-less Broncos versus the
Oh,
Rams.
what happened to Russell
He
Wilson?
got a contusion on his head, and he's in concussion protocol, as far as I remember.
Okay.
He ran. He was going to win the game, and he probably would have won the game in a miraculous comeback. But he landed on his head and had one
Oh
massive welt
God.
on his head, and
Right. Yeah, I
he
saw
was
that.
actually
Yeah.
knocked out when it happened. It was pretty
Hmm.
ugly. He's doing
Yeah.
okay as far as I know. It just means that he's not playing and he's recovered from a potential concussion.
I knew this
Um,
last week, right? We talked about this
I
last
think we
week.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I saw the
Rams.
clip of it. Yeah.
So the 2.5 on the Rams plus 2.5. After seeing what I saw last week, both these. So the problem here is that the Broncos' defense is actually really good, and that's something that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. I'd actually take the Broncos here at -2.5, but
Yeah.
it's kind of lower on my betting list just because I don't know what's going to happen with that backup quarterback, and I haven't really looked at that guy.
Right.
But I just know with how much trouble Baker Mayfield had against Green Bay's defense, well, Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league right now, and that's something that, like I said, not been talked about because Russell Wilson, $250 million mortgage the future on him was a thing. So, all right, who you got a pick on that one?
I like the Rams, but I mean, but I'm not gonna. I would not wager on this even
No
if I
one
was
ever
going to
should. So,
wager. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
so we got nightcap on December Ween, Bucks Cardinals, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady -7.5.
All right.
That's rough to me. I don't have it in front of me. I had a
That's It's gonna
grid.
be hard to beat that. To beat the
Cardinals
spread.
are really, really bad. So I don't understand. Like to me, I think Tampa Bay is going to just gobble them up. But I don't like -7.5. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
If it was -6.5, probably sold. The problem is that Brady, as good as he is, they have no running game, and they have basically no receivers. So how he's scoring points is mysticism, and their defense is okay. But
It's
the
gonna be
problem is
sorcery.
that this game probably is going to be like 20-27 at the end, and yeah, Brady's probably winning this game, but this line is too correct for me to really want to. And a lot of these lines are usually pretty correct, but just my feel of it, and from everything I've watched, I'm not really getting too many X's and O's this week, but that's rough. I don't like that action. I'm going to bet that
Yeah.
line is going to move though, just because it's in a really weird state right now. Because no one's really going to want action on that. That's
It's
rough.
7.5.
7.5 is rough. So you are allowed to like pick teasers and stuff, but like you should never do that because it's just giving more vigorish to the casino. Like you should just suck
Right.
it up and take the straight line. Last game of the week, the Monday night game, Colts and Chargers. Colts getting 4.5. I'm taking the Chargers and Justin Herbert at minus 4.5.
You like
Um,
it?
the Colts are just that bad. If the Colts get it, the problem is that it could end up coming down to a field goal, and that's where right now it's kind of a no bet ish for me. But if I had to choose, I'd take the Chargers just because the Colts cannot manage a game in the fourth quarter, and Jeff Saturday has proven it's not like he made a mistake one week and changed what he was doing. Nope,
Right.
he is just what he's just going to continue being that poor AI in Madden that you could just get off sides 10 times if they're trying
It's
to kneel the ball
predictable.
down. No, you just go
Yeah.
offside like 10 times against the AI, and eventually they'll stop trying to kneel the ball because it's like a fail safe in the AI, and then they'll let you they'll try to pass it and stuff instead of kneel the
Okay.
ball down and run the
Okay.
clock out. That's all he needed to do. He
Sure.
literally could have just kneeled the ball down up 33-0 in every single drive, just take 2 minutes off the clock, punt, not give good field position away, and they would have won. They would have easily won the game because there was not enough time left in the game for the Vikings to catch up. But
That is
for
not what
all the
happened.
analytics in the game and all this stuff, like I have literally the degrees to go be one of these people up in the skybox for them, and I would have just said, "Look, I've already done the math. Like, I mean, it sounds really stupid, but just I mean, you can run the ball the middle if you want, but just the clock needs to run every play. Do not throw the ball because you get it incomplete. It's just going to basically adds time and drives back into the game. That's how poor their management was. Like you're up 33-0. There's 10 minutes left. Who cares? There's like the Vikings will only get the ball like 4 or 5 times. It's impossible for them to catch up unless they literally score every single drive and you allow all those drives to exist. So,
Yep.
so that's a wrap on the games this week. And don't forget that Lucky Spare is your partner this holiday season. Sit back with a glass from your soda jerk and hand out a handful of these beautifully hand dipped and wrapped cigars and cigarettes. The premier torcedor for your expensive guests. Each hand dipped candy cigar has a flavor intended to keep your friends addicted to our products. Peppermint, corn syrup, sugar, tar, and our personal favorite, bubble mint and honey maple. Stop by our store off I-69 exit 69B to experience a new peak of flavor. I heard you got a box of those.
Oh yeah, the tar flavor
Tar flavor is the best
is
one.
like it's a real classic. It's that real it's that dank 90s flavor that you can't really get anymore. A lot of places are just gonna sell you the honey cinnamon coated
Oh, honey
cigar.
cinnamon.
Yeah.
I have some wonderful ginger cookies that were holiday from Aldi's, and they're really good. So that's
I'd
gonna
like to get some clove chewing gum.
wrap Iggy Talks Too Much. At the Air Check episode 3 slash we will be doing the Terra Invicta thing in a second, but I'm gonna basically post two things. So again, we had Koya DK.TV with us. Koya, thanks for
Thank
joining
you
on
so
this
much.
segment. Any
Yeah,
other
thank
shout
you.
outs or anything that I got your name right? So
You did. KoyaDK.tv is where all my stuff is, and I'm done for the year. I'll be doing more stuff next year. I mean, I'm done for the year other than talking to Iggy and a bunch of other people and being around. I'm around. Thank you. Thanks, Iggy.
all right, and that's going to be a cut.